And we're back.
And we are back. And I'm here from
In the future.
Down Under. In the future. It is Saturday, February 10th at 5 a.m. in Melbourne, Australia. And I'm very excited to be live. I have to plan my travel so I don't have a download during my trip. It's always at some odd hour. But it's great to be here.
It's 60 degrees in Michigan in February, which is absolutely crazy. I mean, hence I'm wearing the short sleeves today. I'm going to definitely enjoy some of this outside weather. It's absolutely crazy.
It's been great weather here also. It's been like 70s.
Well, it's summer there, isn't it?
Yeah. Except I don't get to go outside of buildings. I've been in meetings mostly. I haven't had a chance to wander outside. I went out for like 5 minutes yesterday. That was my exposure to the weather here. So
yes. Well, another week in the books and a lot more stuff to talk about.
Oh, tons of stuff. But exciting, very, very exciting. You know, I'm super pumped. I really like it on the weeks when we do something major because I have no problem deriving energy from the project. I have copious amounts of it, but you go to the next level, you know, when something like that happens, and I love that. I really, really, really excited about that. Oh, 76 in Florida. Wow, nice. All right.
If I'm a gambling man, I'm gonna say this is gonna be our most watched live download. I think it will be. I think.
Oh yeah.
So 2 weeks ago is 216. Last week we did 224. We're at 150 right now, 2 minutes in. So we'll see. We'll see. Oh, the VTRU Cup even made it down under.
Gus, I got my mug with me. It's now my travel mug. Is Gus there? Probably. Hopefully he's there in the audience. I see it. All right, let's get going. I'll just confess to everybody up front. You know, I've been at it nonstop. I've been doing meetings both in U.S. time zones and Australia time zones. So I have prepared as best as I could for this. Let's just say it that way.
All right. Well, I'll go backstage. Ready to get the slide deck going. I'll be starring the questions, and we'll have a nice little get together like we always do afterwards.
All right. Welcome, everybody. This is Season 2, Episode 6, February 9th, 2024. Although I must confess, I'm in Melbourne, and it is February 10th for me. But this is the VTRU Download, where we review all the week's activities. I'm Nick Kalyani, the founder of the project, and I'm very excited to be here with you today. So without further ado, let's just get into our topics. So actually, you know what? This is the first time I'm doing this. Well, the second time I'm doing this with one screen. So bear with me. It's going to be a little tricky for me to do this. I think I got it figured out. There we go. All right. So our categories are protocol, capital, tokens, products, creators, and ecosystem. And we'll go through each of those and give you an update. So first, let's go with the protocol. So our protocol has the blockchain is running fine. We have not had any issues. We are at release candidate 2 now. We have 19,777 wallets. So that was about 500 more wallets since last week. Our 5-second block time is still consistent under load, and we have 1.84 million blocks that have been mined. That's it for the protocol this week. There's nothing new to report, and I actually don't mind that. You know, it's good for the protocol to be in the background, just running steadily, etc. We will continue to onboard more validators. We kind of rushed through the 10 validators in order to be able to list on MEXC, and now we can take a step back and do it in a more structured way. All right, let's talk about capital. We are at $1.34 million on our booster sales. Thank you again for the community for doing that. Appreciate that. And that's 8,795 boosters and 577 early birds. So if you are a crypto investor and you're watching this either live or for the first time, and if you want to participate in this product, the best way is to buy a booster. They cost $150 each. and you can go to booster.vitruvio.xyz and grab one. All right. A financial update. There have been no multi-sig withdrawals this week, so nothing to report there. And now let's talk about tokens. So this has been a very, very interesting week for us with tokens. So let's get right down to it. VTRO, our DEX token, is live on MEXC. So we launched a couple days ago, and it's doing quite well. So the current price looks like is 0.099. Yeah, so it's almost 10 cents. So we didn't have many expectations for this. We kind of this is our first foray into it, and we just wanted the community to kind of recognize that there is a lot of stuff happening with this project, and VTRO is our DEX token, and with it comes a lot of cool benefits when it's staked. And so we figured the community would recognize that and appropriately respond. So it seems like it's doing well, and we'll keep monitoring it and I'll keep you updated. But today what I wanted to do is, in the course of this download, give you some more reasons to stake VTRO. So we'll be talking about that in a little bit of detail, and we'll go from there. All right. So also, our VTRU OTC service is working really well. We are consistently seeing transactions come on there. So if you want to buy VTRU at the public price of $1.50, this is the place to go, otc.vitruvio.xyz. And if you are trading on MEXC and you have VTRO and then you want to transfer it or anything like that, you will need a little bit of VTRU. So this is the place to go for that as well. All right. Next up, I'm very pleased to announce that our testing of the DEX has been going really well. We've seen a lot of liquidity pairs created by both the community, and we've also done the same. And so we will be launching the DEX VTRO swap next Friday, February the 16th. So it will go live. We will support all pairs except wrapped VTRU. So our plan is to add wrapped VTRU support at the same time as when we list it on a centralized exchange. So that is coming up next week. We will include in the DEX built-in functionality for wrapping and unwrapping from VTRU to wrapped VTRU. So for those of you who may be watching this for the first time, it is necessary for us to wrap VTRU because VTRU is a rebasing coin, and most exchanges don't support rebasing coins. So we wrap it into a token. It's a 1-for-1 wrap, straight up, and that wrap VTRU can then be unwrapped. And when you unwrap it, you might capture any of the rebases that have accumulated to that point. So this is a welcome news because having a DEX is critical. We expect that folks will create their own tokens, and I'm optimistically going to say that we will have an initial version of VTRU Mint up and running. What VTRU Mint will let you do is essentially fill out a form, a web UI, and launch your token. So that's what the first release will do. Later on, it'll be more sophisticated because it's intended for communities. So if you have a creator community of some kind, you'll be able to go to VTRU Mint, create a token, and also get some ancillary features there, like a community chat, things like that. So, but optimistically, we'll launch a VTRU Mint also along with this, so that you'll be able to create your own token. That's coming up next week. All right. Now an update on Swapper. So it's been a couple of weeks since I last updated. I just wanted to make sure that there's a final update out there so everyone's aware of exactly what the last numbers were and what the next actions are going to be. So there were 3,944 holders. That's about 22.2% who sealed. So for them, the vested VTRU was airdropped. The VTRO was airdropped. And it was a real-time kind of thing. It's you seal and you got those those coins and tokens. Now, 13,705 wallets, account holders, 77.8% did not seal. So what happens to them? And I feel like a number of the holders are now starting to appear in our Discord as they hear about the project. So we want to make sure that you're not sort of left in the dark. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a final release of Swapper. And essentially what it will do is enable claiming. We want to have claiming versus airdropping on these because there are a large number of ghost wallets. Basically users who have forgotten about their wallets or forgotten that they have this. And what we don't want to do is airdrop coins and tokens into these wallets where they become lost forever because no one's going to do anything with them. So we prefer to have claiming. And what we will do is keep the program up for 90 days. So we'll have Swapper up and running there for 90 days. And people can come and claim in that period. After 90 days, it'll go offline. So when you claim, you will instantly receive a Nexus NFT. You'll receive your vested VTRU, and you'll receive your VTRO. So that's the deal on Swapper. All right, let me just check something here real quick. And get back. All right, great. All right, continuing with the deck here. All right, next, let's talk about VTRO staking income. So I want to make sure that everyone understands the benefits you can derive from VTRO. It is, after all, our first token that's out there in the marketplace in public. And we want to make sure that you're aware of all the different ways in which you can stake and have incentives for it. So the newly announced staking program is what I want to lead off with. And that is, if you stake your VTRO for 60 days, you will earn a 25% bonus. So straight up, stake your VTRO for 60 days, 61st day, you're airdropped 25% VTRO based on how much you staked. So the more you stake, the more you get. So this is available to anybody, and it begins next Friday. The second is something you're already familiar with, which is if you stake VTRO, you will earn 0.05% of DEX fees. And this is also available to any VTRO staker. Now, this is actually now meaningful because the DEX launches February 16th. So next Friday is going to be a big day for us because we're going to have some of these new things up and running for you. Also, if you've staked VTRO, you can earn 0.5% of VTRO mint tokens. Now, this particular reward is available only to UXI investors and everyone who's sealed. So we are going to create an allow list based on those wallets and use those in order to be able to have those 0.5% of VTRU mint tokens airdropped. So as I said, we will have a very rudimentary version of VTRU mint up so we can actually start exercising this particular benefit as well. Now, I know a lot of you have asked this question is, well, what if I change my wallet? What if I have migrated to a different wallet and so on? So we will most likely provide a mechanism where if you connect with the original wallet, then you'll be able to specify what your new wallet is that would be the one you would be staking with to be eligible for the airdrop. So I can't commit to that feature being available at launch, but it will be available shortly thereafter. And we are anticipating the first tokens also starting to appear next Friday. And anyone in the community is also free to create tokens. So this would be a big benefit for stakers. And now what I want to do is introduce a new benefit for VTRO stakers, which is VTRU vesting acceleration. Now, if this sounds familiar, it's because it is one component of our booster program. So we wanted to take that component because it's quite popular and apply it for VTRO stakers also. So I'll tell you about that, but first, a sip of chai. All right, so I was talking to the team earlier today about this program, and I could have like the sort of enterprise simple version, or I could have the fun sort of Web3 version. And the team said I should have the fun, and I believe one of them called it a dad joke kind of thing. So it's the fun version of this. Here we go. It's called Stakecelerate 60. All right. And here it is. If you stake your VTRO for 60 days, just like the other one where you have 25%, you can accelerate your VTRO vesting. Here's how it works. There's 4 levels: rare, medium, medium well, and well done. And each one has sort of a limit, lower and upper limit. So you have a minimum stake and a maximum stake. And based upon how much you stake, you get VTRO acceleration. So now the VTRO coin tokens you hold and the VTRO NFT you will be holding need to be in the same wallet for this to work. But essentially what you can do is you can accelerate your vesting of your VTRO by staking your VTRO. So we hope that people like this program. We created it to really make it beneficial. A lot of you are holders of both, and this gives you the ability to have some upside, and it also reduces sell pressure on VTRO. So hope you like it. That's Stakecelerate 60. All right. So let's move on to the next topic here. Let's talk a little bit about products. So what we've done is over the course of the past few months, we've been going through and working through our products, and we've refined our product strategy. So we've finalized it now. So we are going to have a VTRO suite, and that VTRO suite consists of 4 products. Studio, which is the product that, which is the app that creators start off with in order to onboard their work onto Vitruvio. Search, think of it like Vitruvio's universal search engine, if you will. It's just like Google or Bing or anything like that. It's a search engine for all the artworks and all the music works eventually, and all the film and all the books and all the gaming products, etc., that are listed on Vitruvio. We can do this because unlike every other blockchain where the products are in silos, right? They are in marketplaces. So on Ethereum, you have Foundation or Super Rare or OpenSea. But for us, all the products are consigned to the blockchain. So search can be very powerful and very, very useful. And we're going to fast track this search product, and you'll see how cool it is. What I'm particularly excited about is it has a feature called faceted search, which really makes granular searching of media using metadata really, really rich and great experience. And the next product is store. So what we want to do is we want to give people a Shopify-like experience. So we will have and maintain the Vitruvio store, the VTRO store rather, but anyone with no technical skills can go and say, create new store, and you can create your own store, just like Shopify, based upon all the assets that are stored on the blockchain. So you can say, well, in my store, I only want to sell watercolor paintings made by artists from North America. You can do that, or whatever subset you want, and you can mark it up. You can say, I want to mark it up 10%, 15%. So what we want to do is we want to make every person out there who has the ability to market to a niche audience a marketer for all the creators on our platform. So you can create a Shopify-like store very easily, launch it, run it. It's all hosted by us, and make money for yourself and for the creators. VTRU Stream is the last product in the suite, and similar to Store, Store is the Shopify for art. Stream is the Spotify for art. So this is where people can go and curate playlists, and then we will have subscription packages available for subscribers where they can choose how many devices they want streams for, what kind of artworks they want, what kind of playlists they want, and have a monthly subscription where they have beautiful art showing up on screens in their home, their office, airport, hospital, you name it. So that's going to be the final VTRU suite. We have settled on that product strategy now. And I'm very pleased to report that this week, VTRU Studio went live. So on February 7th, we started onboarding 1,000 Genesis artists in cohorts. So for Kalyani and her team are doing really well on that. This is an alpha, VTRU Studio alpha version. It's designed to let one creator onboard one artwork. And the product doesn't have every feature that we intend to have in there, but we wanted to start and we want to start getting feedback. So it's got the basics. It's got the ability to load artwork using standard sizes. It's got metadata. It's got licensing. It's got the terms of agreement, the copyright, and so on and so forth. So we are really excited about that. And what we're going to do is go through cohorts of these artists and accelerate. By the way, our waitlist has now already gone past 1,000 additional artists. So right away, we have, I would say, around 2,200 artists, and more are signing up every day as they're hearing about Vitruvio. So really exciting milestone, and congrats to Fer and the team, the dev team in Brazil that have done an outstanding job. So hats off to them. And I hope one of these downloads, I can have them over on the show, and you can meet some of them and hear a little bit about their experience building VTRU Studio. So that is the first product that is live and available. If you go to studio.vitruvio.xyz, you'll see it. But the reason I'm not promoting that link, I just kind of mention it, is because we are making sure that there is an allow list, and the artists that we are onboarding are on the allow list. So you have to be on that before you can log in. And we are doing that because we are testing. Once our testing is done, we'll open it to everybody. All right, next, VTRU Scope. I know everyone is anxiously waiting for this. Well, I'm pleased to report that airdrops are beginning this weekend. Here's, as we get into the detail of it, we are trying to figure out exactly how to get all the airdrops done right. And as I have mentioned previously, I'm trying to orchestrate the airdrops so that we can also get a rebase out of it, because there's going to be a large number of transactions. So the initial ones are going to be Nexus, Dreamer, and Benefactor. And what you're seeing here is what those NFTs will look like. So the way it will play out is you get your airdrop, and then you will go to VTRU Scope, and you will see your NFT in there, and you'll be able to hit a claim button and be able to claim all your vested coins to that date. So this has been fairly complex, because it is actually the most meaningful product we have in terms of sort of financial complexity, right? Like, we've got vested coins, we've got rebasing, we've got different classes of NFTs. So it's a fairly complicated thing, and I appreciate that the community has been a little patient with us, or perhaps not for us impatient, but it's really been challenging, and we want to make sure we get it right the first time. But the wait is over. This weekend, you will start having your NFTs, and the product will be live. All right, let's go to the next slide here. All right, now let's talk about the ecosystem a little bit. And the ecosystem is really, really important, because ultimately, we are an integrated ecosystem for creators. And so the breadth and depth of what we do goes beyond our blockchain. We have to make sure that we really create things that help grow the overall creator base and help everyone make money. So first, sip of chai. All right. So let's look at this slide here. I call it the Vitruvio equation. We've spent lots and lots of time, you and I, in what's it now been 22, maybe more downloads. We've talked a lot about creators. Even today, we've seen the product around creators, etc. And every week I talk about artists, etc. But ultimately, let's take note of one very important fact. Creators coming onto the blockchain and consigning the artwork and us providing tools to promote them and to sell them, etc., are not. They are not. They are not of much value unless there is the other side of the equation. And what I'd like to do now is, starting this download, start really doubling down and focusing on the other side of the equation, because it is important. We need buyers, right? So on the right-hand side here, I have classified the buyers into 3 buckets. Collectors. So that's the bucket what I would consider all the folks who are currently in Web3, who are collecting art, who are buying NFTs, basically. So that's our first bucket. The second bucket is normies. So we want to extend the reach of Web3 to people who are not yet into crypto, people who are not yet don't have a wallet or anything like that. And we want to make it super simple for them. We want to make it friction-free, and we want to enable them, allow them to use the usual tools like a credit card, your browser, etc., and not have to worry about the complexities that we know most crypto users have when they onboard for the first time. So that's normies. And the third one is Degens. So if you look at the Web3 landscape, a large amount of the transactions that occur, a large amount of the capital that changes hands, etc., through different projects, whether it's DeFi or PFP projects, etc., is with Degens. So we do have to extend our ecosystem to this group. So the 3 groups are what we'll talk about a little bit today. So the first one is collectors. So what we want to do is we're going to go and analyze Ethereum purchases on different marketplaces. And based on accumulated sort of purchases, we are going to enable collector credits for different wallets. And a collector can come to Vitruvio and essentially claim their credits in order to start collecting. So this is an incentive for them based on their activity on Ethereum to essentially welcome them to Vitruvio and say, hey, you are a collector. Why don't you come and check us out here? And we'll give you some credits so you can start shopping. That's one thing. The next thing is we want to give them Vitru rewards for collecting. So we all know, we all have a credit card that has some cashback concept. So we're going to do some of that. We're going to give them Vitru rewards for collecting. So the more you collect, the more rewards you get to really incentivize collectors to come and buy work on the platform. And lastly, we will introduce a concept called Collector Circle. What we want to do is we want to get the top collectors together. We'll be launching a project called Art Packs soon, which is essentially, if you've used NBA Top Shot or similar platforms, you have these virtual packs of artworks, and you can open it and find out what artworks are in there. So it's a little bit of gamification for art collection. So we'll be giving the Collector Circle members some free art packs regularly. And also what we'll eventually do is introduce a new collector core NFT, which will have some DAO voting rights, because these are folks that really influence where the, that help artists by collecting their artworks. And so we want to make sure that they have a say in where this platform goes also. So that's it for collectors. For the normies, it's very straightforward. We want to enable credit card purchases. We don't expect that most normies will want to collect artworks at scale. They'll probably collect a few. So we'll have daily art packs drawings where if you purchased, you might be eligible to win. And of course, we'll do poet airdrops for them. So that's it for the collectors and normies. But now let's talk about Degens. And honestly, a lot of my time here in Australia has been focused on this topic. So what we are trying to do is make sure that the creator side of the equation is well thought out, well handled, and there's a lot of progress we've made there. What we want to do now is really start doubling down and focusing on getting Web3 savvy users, Degens, to participate in Vitruvio ecosystem. So what we want to do is we'll start off with a massive Vitru airdrop incentive program which is organized to reward collectors. So we'll look at the top PFP project collectors, and we'll set up an airdrop program for them. Airdrops are a very effective way to incentivize users to try new things. And so we would like to do that. We had good meetings with some very big influencers, and we are set to help create mass exposure and adoption of Vitruvio within the PFP space. So this is really, really exciting for us, especially sitting in these meetings and brainstorming about how we are going to get some of these very, very influential folks to talk about Vitruvio and to promote Vitruvio to their audiences has been a very meaningful experience for me. We now on our platform have an experienced advisory team. So some of the big influencers and members of from the PFP projects are now on our team, and we'll be talking about them in the near future. We are also going to create a points reward system to help reward early adopters with a Honcho airdrop. If you're wondering what's Honcho, hold that thought for a minute. I'll tell you about it. On VTRO DEX, on the VTRO swap DEX, we will be launching a Honcho VTRO pair as soon as possible. We'll try and expedite that as much as possible. And also for all the users that come in, of course, they're going to have the rebasing rewards. So let's talk about Honcho. So earlier here, I talked about the VTRU suite, and I talked about how we're going to have our store and our stream, like the Shopify and the Spotify. Honcho is something different. What we're going to do is we're going to launch a PFP and gaming asset exchange. So this will be where we get the Degen crowd to come in and to use some of the technologies that we are starting to build into our blockchain. One in particular that I feel will be very, very interesting is on-chain metadata. As you probably know, most of the other platforms, they have their metadata in JSON files, JavaScript object notation files that are stored off-chain, but we have them on-chain, so we can do some interesting things. But ultimately, with this marketplace, we'll provide the tools and the resources for projects to grow and thrive that are PFP-centric, but at the end of the day, they are also creators, right? And so we are a creator-centric blockchain. And so we want to welcome Degens, and we want to welcome projects that sort of span the gamut of all kinds of different utilities and all kinds of different characters and things like that. So the gaming assets in particular are very interesting because with some of the newer NFT standards that are emerging, it becomes really, really cool to be able to have one sort of NFT asset and then add additional assets to it, creating a composite of value. And you can trade or swap portions of it or the entire composite as is. So we are very excited to be building and launching the Honcho marketplace. And this is going to be the first of many. There's going to be many other marketplaces on here, but super, super excited about it. Super excited to complete the equation here. So we've got the artists, that are creators, but we also want to welcome every other kind of creator. And so with the PFP projects, we'll be able to get some of those artists in also that work on what I think are pretty mind-blowing sort of graphics and things like that. All right, next up, let's talk about today's DAOnload POET. So every download, I have a QR code for you to scan. So as you collect these downloads, and what we'll do is eventually we'll announce some giveaways associated with that. So please do claim this download. So as I started off by saying, I'm operating here on both sort of US and Australian time. So I didn't have a lot of time to go into a very detailed download today, but I've covered the most important things, and I'm sure we're going to cover a lot more as we go through some of the questions. But the highlights are that we've launched on VTRU. We've launched VTRO on MEXC Exchange. My trips thus far has been very successful in getting buy-on from leaders in the PFP ecosystem to work with us and collaborate with us on building out that part of the Vitruvio ecosystem. We've launched VTRU Studio, which is amazing. We have started to onboard the artists, and I also announced some new programs for staking. So that's sort of the top news for today. Zach, come on over and let's talk about it.
Sorry, I was coughing. What
No
is
worries.
up, Nicholas?
Whew. Yeah, so this was a short download in terms of my presentation, but there's some very meaningful news there. And I'm very excited because in this trip here, I made this trip like on the spur of the moment because we really saw the opportunity to meet with some people and get things going. And I feel like already with just a day's worth of meetings, we've already accomplished quite a bit and set down the rails for Vitruvio to really thrive with the PFP crowd. So I'm excited about that because I think we need, like, everyone's a creator,
I got ideas for PFPs. So it's a huge perspective. It's a huge point, and more than anything, like, it's something that people get right away. Like, we've been there, we've done that. There obviously are pitfalls to some of the old models of the PFP and why, like, NFT scene kind of died, became like oversaturated. There wasn't enough like incentives unless it was like trading penny stocks, essentially. So people love that stuff. So it's exciting that we're going to put our own little twist on it, and we're going to allow other people to come in and put their own twist on it. The functionality of our blockchains and our licensing and how everything in smart contracts works opposed to like the general way. And for people who watch this now or later, if you want to just do it a traditional one, like, it's a general purpose blockchain, but like, we can do some cool stuff, especially at the protocol level, that I'm really excited about.
Yeah, Zach, I'm particularly excited about the project that you're putting together with some of the NFTs. And up here we talk about gaming assets, and I talked about composite NFTs, etc. And it would be useful, I think, for people to hear a little bit about the project that you're kind of working on.
Oh, they put me on the spot. Yeah, it's been my baby. It's been kind of a culmination of, like, I would say, like, the last 2 years, if not longer, of my Web3 experience. If we want to go way back 3 years ago, I was working for a layer one that its base was in identity, right? It was a decentralized ID play. So there's like a little piece of that. And I think one of the hugest issues with the word community, it kind of became like a marketing word, right? For, we have the best community, we have the best of this. And I actually wrote a blog post on Medium. If you want to look, if anyone wants to look it up, you can look it up as Zach the Builder. It's out there somewhere. And I go into, like, there's not enough incentive for community, which is two parts. There's a reason to gather, there's a reason to re-engage. So, like, when I look at PFPs, there needs to be a sense of identity. And it doesn't mean KYC, it doesn't mean anything like that, but there needs to be, like, this is my user and this is what they're doing within our community, and how do we reward that user for other things and share in the work. So it's a huge proponent of that loyalty system, rewards. And we're really getting, I wrote a 25-page like light paper on this with diagrams, and it's not quite done yet, but I'm really excited. Definitely going to try to get some VC money, to build it. And the plan is to build it within Vitruvio, and the plan is for it to be chain agnostic, where no matter where your collection is, you can utilize this, because there's some unique functions that you won't get anywhere else, or at least I haven't really seen anybody else try to accomplish, where you don't take away from the prominence of the original assets, like one of your blue chip Ethereums, but you'd still be able to use our protocol for certain functions to grow your brand's audience. So I'm really excited. It's kind of what keeps me up at night, and not in a bad way, but in a good way of, I got to put this note down or I'm going to forget. And we're really excited about it. So.
Yeah, I look at that and I go like, wow, Zach, that's ambitious, but I also see the value to it. And I see, with any product like that, you start with baby steps and then you
Oh, for
build,
sure.
build.
I'm a
So
big picture and then bring it back into like timelines of like, this is the MVP, because you can't build the whole thing. And that's another lesson I learned in one of the projects or one of the companies I work for is we were trying to build the whole ecosystem. And when we needed to focus on one small thing and see if people even wanted it, but instead, it ran dry and we had a bunch of half-made products, and it was a mistake by our whole team, that we were doing that. And so yeah, I agree, but I need to see the full thing in my brain because I'm a neurodivergent person who like sees patterns, and like it's really hard to describe, but I need to see the whole picture before I can chop it all up.
yeah, speaking of that, like as we work with the team in Brazil on VTRU Studio, this on a daily basis, we think like, oh wow, we could do this with it. So one thing that I didn't talk about in earlier, but is kind of important that is brewing is last week I talked about how Poet is going to integrate with Zapier. So that enables 6,000 apps essentially to be Poet enabled. Well, one of the requirements for that is that we have an authentication system that supports a standard in Web 2. It's been there for years. It's very common. It's called OAuth. And every time you see a button on some app in Web 2 where it says like Google login or Twitter login or LinkedIn login, you're using OAuth, right? And so that's how all those apps work. Well, how do we make Poet work with that? Because we don't have OAuth. So it clicked that the studio team has already created a fantastic authentication system with roles and things like that. So I asked them, what would the level of effort be to split out that authentication system, the login system, and make it True ID? So our login system is, we call it True ID, TRU ID. And so we could have a true ID.vitruvio.xyz where you could just go in and sign in. And they said, well, not much effort. And in fact, I'm supposed to see the first version of it by Monday. So this is cool because what they're also going to do is make a generic developer starter kit. So anyone who builds an app on Vitruvio does not have to do anything login related. They have every user who has one login in one app on Vitruvio has a login on every app on Vitruvio.
Well, it's really
So
important, like what I'm building too. So like,
yeah, and here's the important part. Within each account, you can have any number of emails and any number of wallets. That is really, really significant because if you look at other login systems out there, it's one wallet, one login, and you connect. And then when you disconnect and you reconnect, it's a whole different account, which you may not want. What we wanted is the ability for the user to arbitrarily say that, well, I'm logged in into this app and I would like to use this wallet right now, and do that not in the context of the overall app, but in the context of their account. So with True ID, we'll have that. And so what we're going to do is rip out the Poet login that's there right now, replace it with True ID, and bam, we are now able to integrate with Zapier, and that solves that problem. So I bring this up because, we are getting started. And, you and I talked about this. We are sort of like almost 5 or 6 different startups into one package. We are doing all of these different things.
That's what happens when you do a vertical integration. It's
yeah. But these opportunities come up, and I'm excited about it because now we'll have this toolkit that anyone who wants to develop on Vitruvio, we'll actually have a starter app for them, fully enabled with pages, connect buttons, login, etc. They just fill in what special thing are they doing with their app. So this also applies to store. So someone creates a Shopify like experience with a store, their login and all that, it's all done for them. Like literally it works very seamlessly across the entire blockchain. And we can potentially enable that True ID to work across other blockchains also. So a chain agnostic login. So really
it's really important. It's really important because being a startup with no users, right? So not talking about us, but talking about, anybody, right? Who's like, I have an idea. I was at a hackathon and I met some guys and we had a cool idea. You have no community, you have no team, you have zero social presence, you have nothing. Having a system like this literally opens up the onboarding process to be nothing. You instantly have users as long as they know about it, and they don't have to go through, that's one of the hard things with user acquisition is, say, Blue Skies or Farcaster. It's like you actually have to have people physically go through the process and get out of that habit. But now if you make it seamless where it's super easy for anybody to come in, and they see the net benefit, then it's super easy to acquire new users, which is one of the biggest and hardest things in tech, and especially in Web3.
Absolutely. All right. Let's go through some of these questions now. I'm going to take, all right, let's see here. All right. So Arnold asks, oops, sorry about that. Congrats on the MEXC launch. Thank you very much. Very exciting. Any word on when the boosters early birds sale cuts off? I get asked this question every week, and I don't have a good answer as always. But this week, I'll tell you this. We are seriously looking at now with the sort of the VTRU centralized exchange listing with the wrap VTRU DEX, etc. So that means that this issue now is at the forefront. We will have a meaningful answer on this by next Friday, for sure. The reason is because we can't continue to sort of sell at the public price when the coin is listed, right? So let us finalize our discussions and come up with a game plan, and I will commit to providing more information on this next Friday. And I'm not trying to avoid it. It's an unknowable thing right now, and that's kind of why I don't have a good answer for it. If I had one, I would just give it right away.
Yeah, and not to just speak out loud, I actually have an idea that we could talk about and how we implement that, now that I'm thinking about it. So that would be a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, so this question is, having an easy on-ramp for everyone is fantastic. However, there has been little, if any, talk of an easy off-ramp, which is just as crucial. Do you have any updates on this? I'm wondering if this question is about financial off-ramp. Is it?
Taking profits, yeah. I'm assuming.
That's a centralized exchange. That's the role of a centralized exchange, is to provide the on-ramp and off-ramp. So that's the reason why we would even want to list on a centralized exchange versus, just keep it all on a DEX. You want to be able to have lots of different cryptocurrencies and have the ability for people to bring in money and also exit from there. So that's a centralized exchange, and yeah, it's very, very critical. I hope I answered the question. If not, please.
Well, and then also, like, if you're talking to being like a paper hands and you're just trying to like exit, like that's your first bet. But like as things develop, we'll get stable coins, and actually we discussed how we go about that this week. And once that happens, and you can swap on the DEX to a stable coin, you can send it to any centralized exchange in your jurisdiction if that's like the issue that you're having. Because like MEXC is not a North American thing unless you fudge the rules. But yeah, I mean, if you're here for the long run, like, don't worry, it'll be a thing.
Yep. All right. Next question. For those of us using Maxim NFTs, how will that work be activated? Will that process be available this weekend as well? All right. So just to explain to everyone, a Maxim NFT is one where if you are boosting an account that has VTRU in it, but it is not one of the original, and so it doesn't have a Nexus NFT, which is what would be airdropped to all the OGs, then we automatically put a Maxim NFT in there. So our approach to releasing this software is one feature at a time, because what we don't want is a lot of complexity that we have to encounter both from a support perspective and also just from a risk perspective. So this weekend, you're going to have the claim functionality. The boost feature is in the contract, but we'll enable that next. So there's also some doubt about, do we enable boosting while the booster program sales are online or not? We need to evaluate if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. Maybe it's fine. We have to do that. But so when we release the boost feature in the VTRU Scope app, that's when you'll be able to have that. And yeah, we'll essentially auto airdrop the Maxim NFT for people. All right. Next question is, any news on the sneakers? So I did see some new designs in the chat. So maybe next week I can have Fer come on and share some of those designs. So those are coming along. We won't place the sneaker order until our priorities are, liquidity first, operating capital second. We have to keep the lights on, and then we'll get the sneakers done. That is an absolute 100% guarantee. But in terms of spending, we want to be sure that we are not, spending on sneakers and can't keep the lights on. So this will occur. But I'll have Fer come on next week, and we can see the sneaker designs. All right. With the MEXC transactions, excuse me 1 second. Sorry about that. Can we expect a rebase? Is there a rebase counter somewhere to see when one is due? Yeah, so MEXC is VTRO. There's no rebase. That is not a rebasing token. So that actually does not come into play. When we do list the wrapped VTRU token on an exchange, even then the rebase won't come into play, because that's the reason why we have a wrapped VTRU token in the first place, because exchanges don't know how to deal with it. So when you wrap your VTRU, you get wrapped VTRU. That's what will be tradable on an exchange. When you wish to unwrap it, you come to the DEX, you unwrap it, and the DEX will automatically at that point give you your rebase VTRU in addition to the base VTRU that you're unwrapping. So the question is, what's going to happen with the unclaimed VTRO after 90 days when Swapper will be shut down? It's not just VTRO, it's VTRO also. So here's the thing, right? The coins and the tokens are in the treasury, the DAO treasury, basically. So we can either sort of hand those out by airdropping them, or we can wait for people to come and claim. If people don't claim, then they stay in the treasury and they can be used for all other purposes. Basically, it's capital, right? So we'll do a follow-on raise in the future. We use that for those coins, because our coin supply is fixed. It's only going to increase because of rebasing, but there are no new coins being minted, right? So we started off with 60 million VTRO. It'll grow to 250. VTRO, the supply is fixed, 50 million. So we don't want to create a scenario where those coins are trapped in ghost wallets that are inaccessible. So they'll stay in the treasury, and we'll use them for general operations. For the last 2 weeks, this question is still not answered yet. Question is that the 10% VTRO perks rewards for VTRO holders who done the seal deal is going to happen or not? Yeah. Vijay, 100%. It's going to happen because that was the commitment. I actually need to go and do the math on that to see what the exact number is. But yeah, we'll create a perks pool for that. So thank you for bringing that up. But 100%, it is going to happen.
And then if you want to take that investor one, and then I can talk about this one.
Sure, go ahead.
So and I sent you the article. We talked about. I know you were on a flight and all that stuff, but ERC-404, right? So for those who are unaware, I can't remember. It started with a P. The project they started this new. It's not by the Ethereum Foundation. But essentially all that happens is when you buy a token at the same time a 721 is minted, and so which kind of is like an identifier or identity thing. It could be used as such. And then if you sell out all of your tokens, the 721 is burned. And so a lot of people are like, whoa, this is so innovative. But in reality, they're just putting a name to it. I've seen other people do this sort of kind of the same thing. Could we bring that to VTRO Studio? Sure. I mean, we could, with VTRO Mint that's coming down later, the pipeline down the line, and with the features that are in Studio, which are NFTs to away, we could do some form of that. But, right now, I think it's kind of fatty. Following the trends is cool for like exposure, I think. I think that idea and that standard needs a little fine tuning. But I think it overall is pretty cool, but it's nothing like groundbreaking. Like 6551 and 4337 smart contract wallets and tokenized bound accounts are way more cooler than ERC-404, just in my personal opinion.
Great. All right. Next question is, how is it going with the Saft investors? So it's going as well as can be hoped. When we are talking about investors on a project like this, the basic pattern is what I've always told you about. It comes down to traction. Now we are finally at the point where there is a lot of traction. We've got the artist onboarding going on. We've got a coin, a token listed, etc. So we feel like we are in a position now where some of the investors who are on the fence can now jump in. The other thing is also we were waiting for Scope to be launched because that has the vesting contract associated with it. And the vesting contract is important for all these investors because all their coins are vested. And in the Saft agreement, there is a 5-day delivery period for the coins. So we could not even take their money because we need to make sure that when they sign that Saft agreement, that within 5 days we deliver the coins to them. So we are at that point now. So expect to see some action on this here in the coming weeks.
One of the reasons why you're in Australia.
Yes, exactly. How will Vitruvio know all my different wallets? Do I send wallets to Vitruvio? Who do I send numbers? Don't send numbers to anybody, Dolores. The artist onboarding process within VTRU Studio has your profile. We're going to separate that into True ID. So True ID is going to have your profile, and in your profile you can manage a list of email addresses. So you can, create as many email addresses as you want that you want to be able to use, and you can manage a list of wallets that you use. So you can connect as many as you want. So that's how the apps that are used on Vitruvio will know which wallets are yours. Right. I see a bunch of other questions here that I want to answer. So let me just grab those. When can we? A lot of these are answered by Fur, who is in the audience there, so that's cool. All right, so here's one. Can one stake VTRO longer than just 60 days? Could love passive income also in the years to come? Yeah, so more than likely, we will have longer term programs. We will potentially have even a general purpose staking solution in the DEX itself. And that's the reason we put it at just 60 days, because we wanted to have a program up and running now that was easy for us to implement with just one smart contract. But we want a better solution that's there for all the other tokens that eventually are going to be created on here. So we'll have a general purpose staking solution in there, and then that'll fit into it, and that will have indeterminate periods. First says, yes, love the Brazilian team. Yes, I love the Brazilian team. They are very great. They're always thinking about innovation, etc. And they're fast. They're very, very fast. So I'm excited about it. I saw a question here which I'm looking for. Someone asked, "What's a Degen?" Where is that question?
Yeah, I saw that one.
And I want to pull that up. Well, I can't see it, but let's answer the question. All right. So Degen is short for degenerate. There we go. I found it. Space. What does degen mean? So degen is short for degenerate, and it's worn as a badge of honor, sort of among Web3 people. Like the rest of society considers us degenerates, but we are special in our own way. We are doing our own thing. We are creating a world where we own our own data, and we are trying to create a decentralized world. So degen, while to the rest of the world is almost an insult, it is to anyone in Web3 a badge of honor.
It is.
All right. So Biz, thanks for bringing this up. Nick said Dreamer pass holders will receive VTRU. I have 6 passes. You can't distribute them. Will I receive 1 instead of 6? I don't know what you can't distribute them means. You certainly can. But yeah, it's 1 account, 1 Dreamer NFT. So when you are airdropped, it doesn't matter how many passes you have, you will want to move them across different wallets in order to receive all 6. So yeah, that's fairly easy to transfer. You can do it using just MetaMask, or you can do it on OpenSea or anywhere else. But you would want to spread out your passes across multiple wallets for sure. And Gus says there's a lot of degens in here. Yes, indeed.
Garfield
Yes,
too.
degens.
Yeah.
All right, so there's a question here about super early birds. How will the bonus be given? This has not been clarified by wallet or by the number of boosters purchased. All right, so I think this alludes to the math. The math is 100 per 7. So if you have more, that's fine. We'll multiply. You just divide by 7 and multiply by 100, and that's what you're going to get. I think that's what the question is about. So if I've misspoken, please do clarify. But hopefully that's the correct answer there. We are bringing Degens and Normies together. Yes, yes.
We're bridging the gap as we pitch.
Normgens or Dejormies.
It sounds like a pizza.
Yeah.
I find
all right, I'm getting a little slap happy because it's 6 a.m. I haven't slept at all. But I think we've covered. I think we've covered most of the questions here, and any others, I'm sure you'll catch in Discord.
Yeah. I mean, I think the only one that I think here is we could address, and I kind of what we're talk about is, like, are we planning on getting a stable coin for the VTRU launch? Can't confirm that we're doing that or we'll have that, but we're working on the process of what a stable coin looks like here on VTRUvio, and hopefully in the next week or so we'll be able to share some updates on what our plan is.
Yeah, ultimately it goes without saying we want to have a stable coin. It's necessary. We cannot not have it. So it's just a question of how, and whether it's natively there or whether we bridge. Those are the types of things we are trying to figure out. And as soon as we have information on that, we'll share with you. All right, so I guess that's it. I'll leave everyone talking about Honcho because this is our big push. We want to really make VTRUvio more friendly and accessible, and a platform for some of the new generation of PFP projects and gaming asset projects to thrive, to flourish. And we are really, really excited about that.
We also 240 today. We had 240 today on stream. We broke the record. So next week we can go for 250.
Or let's go for 1,000. Why don't we?
You got slow and steady. You gotta grow organically.
That's fair. But guys, I now have to prepare for the rest of my day, and I have to also work with Prabhu on making sure that we are doing this airdrop this weekend. Everything goes smoothly there. So there's a ton of work. And of course, I have meetings all day here. So got a busy day ahead, but I'll keep you updated. I leave Australia here on Tuesday morning. And apparently I arrive, well, I'm in the future, so I should arrive back the same day.
Yeah.
yeah, I actually have to come back to some a little. My neighbor of a very long time ago passed away, so I have to come there to that. That's some bad news, but I'll deal with it. But anyway, I will finish up all my meetings here. I'm very excited that some artists and galleries reached out to me after seeing my tweet that I'm here. So I'm going to have some chai with people. Excited about that. We'll head back and we'll probably do a live with you on Discord, maybe Wednesday, Zach, so we can have more
Those are
updates.
fun.
But
Those are
yeah, excited about it. And thanks everyone. I hope we are keeping a close eye on MEXC, etc. But I hope people see the value proposition here in staking their VTRO. We want to make sure that you can get some good passive income out of it, and that's why we've created some of these programs. So please do check them out. The team will post the link to the download, so you can get the details from the slides there. But thanks all, and see you again online soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah.